Well, hey everybody, I am in Cannon Beach for our annual pastors conference. I'm rooming with my friend Sky, our youth pastor, and there's only one bed. But this couch pulls out to a bed. I think I'll just sleep on the couch out here, and it'll be just fine. And our room has an awesome view. This is the best. It is a good afternoon for a walk on the beach. Man, I love it here. The sun is out. That doesn't happen too often in January, at least in my experience at the beach. Alright, well, while I'm out here walking around on the beach, I thought I would share with you something that popped in my head today. I was thinking about leading worship. I'm a worship leader at my church, and how sometimes it can be difficult to pick songs for your church to sing on a given weekend. And I remembered that some years ago, a pastor that I worked for gave me a recipe that has really helped me pick songs. And so I want to share that recipe with you today. But first, let's take a look at some of the drone shots I'm getting on the beach here at Haystack Rock at Cannon Beach, Oregon. So yeah, it can be difficult when you're looking at your whole library of songs and you're thinking, okay, what songs are we gonna sing this weekend? Well, this recipe that was given to me has been very helpful, and it has 3 ingredients. And so the 3 ingredients are the heart of the leader, the heart of the church, and the theme for the sermon that weekend. So I don't know if your church maybe values things a little bit differently than mine does as far as worship goes and as far as planning worship sets. If it does, that's okay. You may have to tweak what I'm saying a little bit for it to be helpful to you. But this has worked really well for my church and the things that we value. So the heart of the leader. First, I think it is important what you as the leader are going through and what's on your mind, what songs are speaking to you lately. I think that's important, and I think you should mix a little of that into the worship set. You know, what are you passionate about? What themes is God laying on your heart? Maybe he's laying them on your heart because he wants you to share them with the church. But it's important that this is just a part of the recipe. Sometimes we make the whole worship set about us and what we're going through, and that's not so healthy. But mixing a little of what is on our heart into the set is really good. Then it comes to the heart of the church. I think that's important to consider as well. You know, what is your church going through? Has there been some major events in your church that you want to, let the worship set touch on? You know, if your church is going through some sort of a crisis or whatever, you might want to consider that and be leading the church in worship in a way that allows them to process and grieve or whatever needs to be done in God's presence during that time. But also, you know, what holiday is it? Like, in the life of the church, if it's Christmas, you might want to sing some Christmas songs. In the life of the church, in the heart of the church, if it's Easter, you might do some Easter songs. You know what I mean? So I think it's helpful to mix into your recipe and take into consideration the heart of the church, what's going on in your church body. And then the third thing that is important to my church is the theme of the sermon or the talk for that day. So the pastors that are sharing the sermon that day usually have a pretty good idea of where they want to go and what they want, hopefully guided by God, what they want to see accomplished, or what themes we're thinking about talking about that day. So especially as I close the gathering with a song, I'd love for it to be something that helps us process the things that we've been thinking about that day. But it seems like as a worship leader, if the theme of the day is important to your church, it's easy to get bogged down thinking about just the theme and trying to make every song fit the theme of the sermon or of the talk. And that can get really difficult. In fact, sometimes we don't have songs that are exactly on theme. And so that has been where this recipe has been super helpful for me to realize that the theme of the day is important, but it's really only 1/3 of the recipe. It's also good to consider what God's doing in my heart, what's happening in the life of the church, the heart of the church, as well as the theme of the day. So that's my advice to you. I hope that this recipe has been helpful to you. It's been super helpful to me. And go ahead and leave me a comment below of your thoughts and what kinds of things you consider when you're planning a worship set for your church to sing.